Namaskar and a very good afternoon to all of you. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all to today's very special Vimarsh program, and to be a talk to be delivered by a very special person, Professor Kamakoti, who is the director of IIT Madras. I think they still call it Madras, no? Yes. So I would like to first of all thank him for being with us today for this public talk. You have to be in IIT to see how busy he is. As he was sitting with me, he was dealing with computer architecture, chip architecture on his phone, and also the income tax thing, and he was telling his finance what is to be done about his income tax returns and those kind of things. So they are very busy people, and so for them to have with us is really an honor and a privilege. So thank you very much, sir, for being with us. And we are also especially privileged because some months ago the VIF and IIT Madras signed an MOU, and we have been collaborating a little bit. So your coming here will also give a fillip to our collaboration between two institutions. So as I said, Professor Kamakoti is the director of IIT Madras, and I tried to look for his CV on his the website, and all I could get was a few jargon of computer science, etc. So he is, a very professional, devoted to his job. He became the director, I think, in 2022, and he is an expert on VLSI design, cluster computing, high performance computing, algorithms, and computational geometry. So this is what I got from your website. Maybe you could explain later what this means. But one can see that these are the very areas which are today driving the revolution in computer science in so many areas, both hardware, software, and so on. And he was the member of National Security Advisory Board for many years, probably still are, you are still are. So he's a member of NSAB, and I've heard that he made a tremendous contribution during his membership there, and they developed a 5G standards with the help of MIT and some other experts, and today we have an Indian standard on 5G which they are promoting globally. So Kamakoti and his team have been behind this. And he has also been involved with the building of Shakti microprocessors, which is indigenous. So maybe he would talk about that also. Though he is burdened with a lot of administrative work and institutional work, but I noticed that he's also still guiding a large number of PhDs and MTech students in cutting edge areas of computer science, which relate to cyber security, digital system testing, computer-aided design for VLSI, etc. So he's very much into the computer science cutting-edge research. He is globally prominent. It is quite natural given the kind of field that he is in. But I'm told that he doesn't have a passport and he doesn't travel abroad. He has not traveled abroad. So he is entirely homegrown, and he is a IIT Madras product. He studied there and has been teaching there for all those years, and now he's the director. Is that right? Because I thought it was just a story that you don't have a passport and never traveled. Because last time when I met him, he said that he wants people to come to him and to India. Why should he travel abroad? So that's the kind of approach, and I think that is the approach we need if we have to indigenize, and develop self-reliance in this area. Friends, the role of ITs in national development is well known. doesn't require any laboring. And out of all the IITs, IIT Madras is a globally known institution where thousands of people have studied over the years. They have contributed to national development, and many of them have become globally prominent in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and so on. As I said, Kamakoti ji has taken a number of initiatives in recent years, and he's involved in bringing that synergy between academia, industry, and the government. And when we went to IIT Madras recently, we also visited the fantastic research park that has been set up in the IIT, just outside the IIT, and where several hundred startups, companies, cutting-edge companies are working. And IT academicians, professors, researchers, students, are all working in this area and bringing a synergy between research and industry, which is so very important, which is something that is missing in this country. But he is making, and his institution is making, a very commendable effort in this area. And if you visit the different departments of the IIT, and which we did, it's really the quality and depth of research, ranging from biotechnology to computer science and marine science and so many other areas. Youngsters working, and they're taking part in so many of these festivals, globally known robotics competitions and hacking, hackathons, etc. Really pulsating with energy. And as we came in, he also told me that one good news is that the number of people who are migrating to the US has dropped down to only about 25%, I think, 5%. So, which is, I think, a very positive sign. So, all these people will ultimately be harnessed in nation building. It's quite clear that science and technology will play a crucial role in India's growth story and towards India becoming a Viksit Bharat by 2047. And we are fortunate that there are many institutions like IIT Madras who are in India and who are training these people who are working in cutting edge areas of science and technology. And they are the fulcrum of India's scientific and technology journey ahead. So we can host a large number of skilled and qualified manpower, which will propel our growth story in the years to come. But I think we still have challenges, and universities and IITs and other institutions will need to educate, skill, and train the highly qualified and skilled manpower, even in greater numbers, that will require in the years to come. This is a big challenge. A lot of people are sort of making a beeline, but I think we should thank Trump for creating that visa chaos, which is also, I think, bringing down the number of people who are going. Really, hats off to Trump. Now, as we grow, attaining technology sovereignty in a strategic area is going to be the key to India's growth. So we have technology, but whether we have technology sovereignty or no, I think that's a question we should be asking. You don't have technology sovereignty, you don't have strategic autonomy. So no strategic autonomy, no diplomacy based on strategic autonomy without technology sovereignty. We ought to have realized it much earlier, but better late than never. So we have made some progress in technology areas, but I think still a lot more needs to be done. And more important, I think we need to synergize our efforts. So in pockets, you have fantastic people doing fantastic work, but they are in pockets. One pocket doesn't know the other. So I think synergization, coordination is very important. Our dependence on imports of technology and technological products needs to be reduced drastically by strengthening self-reliance and Atmanirbharta. So Atmanirbharta will not come unless we have technological Atmanirbharta. We are seeing that the leading countries of the world spend far, far more on research and development as share of GDP than India does. We are about 0.6, 0.7%, where the average is about 2.7, 2.8, 3%, at least in the technologically developed countries. We have to renovate and update our curricula in engineering. We have to upgrade our STEM systems. Now they are called STEAM, I think, where arts is also included. So the whole education system needs to be revamped for India to be prepared for this Viksit Bharat and particularly the technology self-reliance. We are also seeing a worrying trend in the growth of these technology monopoly companies in the West and now also in China, which are spending billions upon billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars on R&D, which have created these monopolies. They are the ones who are creating monopolies. They're controlling all the data that we generate, and they have become so powerful. Their revenues or their valuations exceed the GDP of many countries, including one company. I think its evaluation was recently done 4 trillion, which is the GDP of India. So on one hand, you have these companies who are totally monopolistic, totally wedded to their own profits and so on, and they are calling the shots in every area because the technologies that they are developing, and they are gobbling up all the resources and also the intellectual resources for all over the world. So how do we deal with them? And they are the ones who impact our sovereignty the most. So I think some way will have to be found. They control the intellectual property, the standards, and the data. So they challenge the sovereignty of elected governments with impunity. So this is a trend which we'll have to fight. How do we do it? It needs to be thought. Now the government has done a lot in the last few years. We have seen that several high-tech missions have been launched. A lot of money is going into these missions, whether it is the National Semiconductors Mission or AI mission or quantum technology mission, and many other missions are there. But I think the problem that we see here is that there is a synergy between these missions. And since we deal with a lot in our discussions on defense, we find that defense is almost missing from most of these missions. So defense and security is missing from these missions. So we have to bring them all together. So the money is there. These national semiconductor missions is about 70,000-80,000 crore rupees mission. AI mission is also about 10,000 crore. Then there was a cyber physical mission, etc. But all these missions have to be synergized, and also we have to take care of the cyber security aspects, particularly the protection of the critical infrastructure. Our data, is all going out, and most of our key critical sectors are using the equipment which is still manufactured, etc. So I think these aspects, apart from R&D, etc., these aspects also need to be taken care of. So we'll have to find a way of dealing with these companies. I think one way to do is to develop your own IPRs. So that is how probably we have to make. So I request, I'm sure Kamakoti ji will speak about this and much more. So we look forward to an engaging talk by you. So it's over to you, Kamakoti ji. Thank you.
So friends, a very good afternoon, and thank you very much, sir, for inviting me to this very great place, the Vivekananda International Foundation. Happy this afternoon on a weekday. I'm very happy and completely enthused to see such a very nice August gathering today. Friends, I'll present for 45 minutes. I know I'm doing ALM, it's after lunch management, both for me and you. But I'll present for 45 minutes and then we'll have an interaction for 45 minutes. It's okay? Fine. It's fine. Thank you. So, friends, I just want to basically talk to you about indigenous development and where I come from. What were some of the triggering points in my career that had made me, staunch Indian, I must say, that I decided that I will not step out. I will not even 1 microsecond. I don't want to breathe air that is not Indian. That was my decision. I want to come out with some real reasons why I tried doing this, and some net results, and what is in store for us, and what we need to do, and what we are planning at IIT Madras. God has given me the opportunity to lead such a very good institution. It's number 1 in the country for several years. And so these are some things I would like to share, and during our interactions I would like to take feedback from you so that I could also improve myself, I could improve my institute, and we could all collectively do something great for our country. With this objective, friends, somewhere in 2012, Dr. Kalam, whom I have a lot of respect, came out with this statement saying, he had this vision 2020, like our Honorable Prime Minister has vision Viksit Bharat 2047. He said by 2020 do something which is concrete, not abstract. Okay, so that means he said don't tell any stories, don't keep talking, do something that's worthwhile for the country. That was his very subtle statement. At that point, motivated by this, I had a bunch of students. We all start, okay, Dr. Kalam is telling this, what can we do? So we were all having a reasonably okay introduction to computer architecture. We thought, why don't we start doing a processor for the country? As you know, today this room I can challenge will have more than 500 microprocessors. Each of your mobile phone has a quad core or octa core, so multiply this by 8 plus all this mic and then this projector. You can surely have even the clock there has a small microprocessor, and the microprocessor is actually the brain of any electronic system that it runs. And if we are able to compromise that microprocessor, or if we deny that microprocessor, like how Microsoft went and pulled the plug of Naira, which is an oil company, which was just for the reason that they are purchasing something from Russia, and the whole operation stopped for 2 weeks, and they had to go to court. So if such type of things happen, the whole country will be in a state of chaos. And more importantly, our data leaking is also something very important. So with these things in mind, we thought it's worthwhile to start a microprocessor project. At that point of time, we had several offers. Some of the commercial companies also came and first they thought, it's an IIT, one man, what they can do and stuff like that. So when we started exploring this, we wanted something which is open source, which anybody can access, and it should be a democratization so that any startup can use it. We don't want to create a digital divide. As a country, friends, we have seen a digital divide. The digital divide came because of lack of internet connectivity. Even though today we are all saying that we have 4G in the country, 5G is still, I just explaining to chairman, now see sir, this is 4G already here. Right? So it's not 5G. Okay, somewhere in some packet you get 5G, but a lot of time it is 4G. Even in the commercial network. So today internet connectivity, though we are saying for 4G and 5G, I belong to village, so I go to my village, I have a school there. It's almost since independent India, we have not got a proper mobile connectivity even during 2G tech, right? And if at all somebody is serving us, it is our Jai Hind, Bharat Mata, BSNL. Okay, I think we should congratulate them because there's no business there, right? There'll be some hardly 500 people and they have to construct a tower there, and they do that. So that is the most important thing of having a government vehicle trying to give us a service, right? So with this type of divide that is happening, we don't want a divide because of at least the microprocessor that we were talking of. So we want to do a microprocessor and put it at open. So at that point of time, ARM, the processor that is it closed door? No,
this is open.
Meaning nobody is recording, right?
It's like
Huh?
live streaming. I am on YouTube.
Nice.
Okay. So some of the companies which are doing microprocessors, they had, the microprocessor was proprietary, but the peripheral interface was open, so that anybody can make a peripheral interface and join it with a microprocessor. But at some point of time, they realized that they are becoming monopoly, right? And they said they will also make that peripheral interface proprietary. So if I want to make a camera and attach it to the mobile phone, I have to go and fall at their feet. This was an eye-opener even for the developed world, and Berkeley, MIT also came up, and then they said they will make an open source, completely encumbrance-free, BSD licensed instruction set architecture called RISC-V. Okay, this is a instruction set is a layer which will make the hardware the software talk to the hardware and vice versa. Okay, so this is so there are two types of licenses for one is this GNU license, which is basically a open source license. You can use whatever, but if you change, you have to report back. You can take the software under GNU license, but you have to report back. By BSD licenses, you change whatever you do, nothing you need to report back, and that was very much suiting us. So we started this RISC-V along with Berkeley and MIT. We were the third to adopt RISC-V, with a bunch of 7-8 students who decided to stay back in India. They rejected many foreign offers, including the developed countries, which we were talking about now. They decided to stay, and we said, okay, let us build this processor. And when we started, it took me 4 years to convince people to fund this project, and MIT was kind enough to fund me this project at 2017, where we started building a processor for our country, and we called it Shakti. Right? And I was also very particular that we must keep at constant time period, we must keep informing that we have an ecosystem in the country, right? When you look at chip design, semiconductor design, there is a design that you do, which is completely software. Then there is a post design you do, which will convert this software into a mask, which is again a software. And this mask will be sent to a fabrication unit. They will put multiple things on a wafer and cut it. Then they assemble it. So there's a manufacturing, then cutting and assembling it and making it into a box. It's called packaging. Then you make the printed circuit board. You mount this chip on the printed circuit board. You write software and boot it. Okay, so these are all the stages from which a concept can convert itself to a system. Friends, we did the design here, and I decided that we will go and manufacture it at Semiconductor Laboratory, Chandigarh, which had still continue to have at least 25-year-old technology, which is a 180 nanometer. But friends, 180 nanometer today is still relevant. 80% of India's embedded system needs can be solved using 180 nanometer. Right? This is a statement I can tell you with a lot of conviction, having 25 years of experience in this place. So we decided, let us go and do that. And then packaging will be done there in Chandigarh. Then we designed our own printed circuit board at IIT Madras. So the chip was fabricated, came back, and we mounted at IIT Madras and assembled at Sriperumbudur. Software was written at IIT Madras, and thing was put at there. So it was completely Indian. We did not cross the shore. When I was on this venture, one of our quote-unquote non-reliable Indian NRI friend called me and said, Kama, if this chip works, you can retire. I still remember September 19, 1:03 a.m. in the night. The chip really booted. So I made that WhatsApp call and said, friend, chip has booted, I'm not retiring. Okay, so that's the thing. So why I'm saying this is, as a country, we do have this potential. Everything was number one. We have not seen the PDK of the fab of SCL. Nobody had tape-out experience. Everything was start, and it was No, we say that we have a lot of R&D investments in the other parts of the world, but friend, we have done it with 2 crores of money, which is $250,000 at those days, and a typical microcontroller of this sort would be close to $1 billion, right? So this is the cost cutting we have done, and this is less for more. So I have a friend of mine, Sumantran, who's working with Indigo, and he says the success of Indigo was less for more. Okay? And that is what India means. Friends, the chip started working. Subsequently, we made multiple versions of the chip. Today, I am very proud to tell you there are more than 12 startups who have just taken that core. It's an open source core. They have made it, and if God blesses, within the next 4 months, we will have the first commercial full-fledged version of the chip, which can go on to cameras, which can go on to multiple devices in our country. So I request all of you to pray for those youngsters to succeed in this venture. So why I told this was, I want to tell one more story before I go into my slides here. The second story is about 5G. Friends, in the developed countries, the definition of rural is a 10-lane highway in which the car can go at 300 miles per hour and you should not lose connectivity. In our country, we can't have every 100 meters, we can't afford to have a tower. And if you are going to put that much tower, suppose Airtel or Jio is going to put that much of towers here every 100 meters, then your phone call will be 10 rupees per call. It cannot be at 50 paise, right? Or sometimes you pay, occasionally you pay some money and then it keeps working, right? It cannot be. So, and what we need in our villages, we want to use 5G not as an entertainment. We want to use 5G as an industrial contribution. We want to use it for agriculture. We want to use it for factory automation. So what we need is low mobility but large coverage, right? We want to cover the most rural part of our country so that there is no digital divide, and we want to see that this technology shines. And friends, 100 crore people are using smartphones today. They are using network, and many of us have 2 phones, right? So on an average, we have 150 crore phone users in our country. No other country has this, and we have this massive user base. And so we developed a set of IITs and CVIT, Center of Excellence in Wireless Technology, and Samir is a lab in Chennai, who did the antenna part. We developed a technology called LMLC, which is low mobility, large coverage. And that is needed for our country. And when we took that to the international forum, this is called 3GPP, the third generation project partnership, basically run by 3 developed countries. Again, since I'm recorder, I'm not in a position to tell the country name, but you can guess. And multiple times it got bumped. And that too, very quote unquote heartening was our fellows sitting in that company, fellows who I have given grade, sitting there and saying, oh, this will not work, this is not correct and that is not correct. And it actually took, thanks to our government stood fully with us. At some point of time, the DOT, everybody stood fully with us, thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister, that we were able to get that 5G and get it harmonized with the new 17 plus release of the 5G. Okay, so this is what we call as a standard essential patent. So any 5G release subsequently, which is 17 plus, has to implement this standard and hence has to pay us some royalty. I don't know whether they will pay, but they have to. We are legally entitled for a royalty. So this is because when you buy an iPhone or whatever phone you buy, 20% of this roughly, we don't have the real statistics and other things, but my guess is, and I may be right, on the pessimistic side, maybe it will be more than that, goes on to royalty, right? And there are companies who have just filed the patent and then sit and happily because they get this royalty. So, technology sovereignty, holding the IP, owning the IP is that which is going to make Viksit Bharat 2047. Unless we don't have the ownership of the IP, we are done. So this is one thing that we were very, very clear about it. And this second story of is, in Tamil we say Kadayella Nejam, this is a reality of what we faced, is something which every student has to talk about. And the third, of course, is COVID, when we were actually, worrying about vaccines, and when our own Ayush and other treatments, friends, from August 2021 to August 20, around that, right? August 21, that full peak COVID, I had been going to office every day, and I used a small nasal drops, which was given by one Sunandan, and many of us were using it. And I tested for, there were 4 times that we had a thing to meet the Prime Minister for something, and we were asked to do that COVID test. 4 times I tested, no COVID came. And it was typically some 10 rupees or 15 rupees treatment. But when we actually wanted to even publish it, I wanted that particular Ayurvedic doctor to get, they said you need to do clinical trials. I said, for washing hands do you do clinical trials? So these are lot of great things happened. When this whole health has been turned into a commercial venture, and vaccine was about to become a commercial venture, right? And we had waited for 1 more year for this vaccine. Our already, as an education institution, I see that gap, that COVID gap still. It is not still gone. So that learning that has been stopped, that socializing that has been stopped, the students are really facing certain crises. It has resulted in a lot of social issues, a lot of stress issues and other things. VIF can call me for 2 more hours, I can talk about it. But at that point of time, 2 vaccines we invented, and 2 vaccines, 275 crores we have injected. 275 crore doses we have done, and we have donated to other countries. That's why today many of the countries, the global south, respect us because we have donated, right? There are people who have gone and robbed those countries, and when this COVID came, they only gave something that was extra, and that too at a cost. But we have donated. Even when we needed stock, we need stock here, we had gone ahead and donated. And that's why I still believe, and I'm very happy that I am not breathing any air except Bharat ka air. Okay? I think this is the most important. So friends, all these things really made us very much think about technology, sovereignty, that we need to hold these technologies, and especially we should start looking at emerging technologies. At this point, of course, I benefit a lot from being a member of the NSAB, and a lot of guidance, very minute guidance that I get from Sri Dovalji. At that point, I want to mention Dovalji here because this is his place. We started, it was his brainchild of this ISET, which is Initiative and Critical and Emerging Technology. So, and why it is important? Again, things started, so we were looking for some case studies. For example, suppose we go and say in cyber security, people can put something here and it can affect at some critical point. A lot of our people are saying, oh, this is all fiction and other things. Thanks to Israel, they put that thing in the pager. So when you can, I don't know whether when pager rings, those guys didn't know whether to press it or not. If they did not press, that's all, something else happened, they pressed, something else happened. Supply chain hacking, and all these very interesting examples, including the Nayara that happened 10 days before, 1 month before, If you all know Naira, how many people know about Naira? Right? Naira is a company which was actually an oil company, and because they had something with some other nation, the other fellow said, pull the plug by a software company. Right? And they were not able to access anything, their own data they were not able to access. Okay? This is what comes because of this monopoly. And we started also seeing many other things that came, where Operation Sindoor actually put a very beautiful demonstration of many things. As an academician, I am very proud that India won that. It was so precise. We had defined what is a responsible war by precision. We did not hit anybody who didn't oppose us, even if they are in an enemy territory. We exactly attacked the real enemy there, and that's called responsible war, right? And we were able to do it, and that precision came because of technology and nothing else. So, post this, we have been very articulate saying that I am a computer science professor, but it's not that it's all computer science, AI and ML. In the whole Operation Sindoor, we were able to map at least 7 engineering disciplines. Minus those disciplines, the war would have been a failure. Those technologies would have been a failure. And so this is also a big motivation for youngsters to pursue a lot of important core engineering, deep tech technologies, including the emerging technologies. And so that is where today India is poised. Every challenge that we face is an opportunity. And we have faced such challenges in the space sector, in the nuclear sector. I think now we are facing a challenge in every sector, which is also very good. I think this is the time where we need to catch up and we need to develop indigenous technologies and take it forward. Okay, so this is my general introduction about what I'm going to present here. So what we did, charity starts at home. I have to practice before I preach. So what I have done at IIT Madras, so we went and told IIT Madras students that you cannot be, no more you can be employees, you should become employers. You should all turn to your core discipline. Everybody should not do, I spend 10 lakhs per annum on a student who is doing biotech and he goes and does high frequency trading after 4 years. It is a wastage of national resource, correct? So we said that we need to stick. So I found out that yes, every student has a future. They are now youth, they want to get married, they want to get settled. And so I can't go and say, don't go and take the job. So I have to give them some opportunity that is more attractive. So we started a center for innovation. We had some pre-incubators. We pumped in some amount of money thanks to our generous alumnus who gave quite significant amount of money. So we encouraged all of them to file a patent about the idea. So anybody has an idea, there will be 5 people in IIT Madras who will catch that person and ask what is the idea and help them convert it to a patent. And we also have a very robust Atmanirbhar AI tool which will help them to convert their idea to a patent. It will give you all the competing patents, it will give you all the other databases, and it will say where yours, does it have a minimum viable product, so many things will come. So friends, last but one financial year, 23-24, we filed 386 patents. My thing was patent a day. And everybody said, okay, it's a fluke, 1 year you got, nice try. So last year, we filed 417 patents. This financial year, 24-25. Now 25-26, from March 31st to today, we have crossed around 95, 110 days. We are already 200 plus. Okay, so the patent office, when I took over as associate dean in 2018, some 5 people will come from week. Now you can come. I also invite all of you to IIT Madras. Whenever you pass there, please do drop in. It's now like a dental clinic. Okay, so it's full. That is one. The next thing is, what will you do with this patent? They are not this Navaratri dolls, right? Just you keep praying. So we have to convert it into something. So we said startup Shatam. Every third day, a startup should be incubated in IIT Madras. So now last financial year, we have 103 startups that have been incubated by IIT Madras. And all are on deep tech technologies. So if you come there, we can show you. So friends, what I'm trying to tell is, India has this great potential. It has a very big potential. And this potential is there all across. Out of these 103 startups, 49 are from IIT Madras students. The remaining 54 are from students outside the IIT Madras system. They were just somewhere, they just came to IIT Madras and said, sir, we have this idea, can you help us? And we have put a faculty mentor, we incubate them, we set up a company for them and we grow. The net result, we have Ether Energy, who has become IPO. This is our, after 9 years of wait, the first IPO we have got. And we invested 5,500 rupees on their stock, but we gave them all Saraswati. Today they are returning back 72 crores. Okay, in 9 years. I think you can calculate what it means. Today we have 2 or 3 unicorns in that direction. But friends, let us know. I want to make this as an opening part of this talk. We have a company called Agnicool Cosmos. Agnicool today 3D prints rocket. What a rocket engine would have taken, to make a rocket engine would have taken 2 months, they print 4 of them in 72 hours, right? Using a metal called Inconel. And the first test flight, which has gone very well, Dr. Somnath said, this is done, pa, next you can go to the orbit. The suborbital flight at Sriharikota happened. The first ever 3D printed rocket in the world, first ever semi-cryogenic engine, first ever private launch pad, launch successful with guidance and navigation. It was not just a sounding rocket. And this happened May 30th, 2024. And by this December end, we are very, very eagerly expecting the first orbit launch. Friends, I want to tell you this, that in 5 years, we need close to 100,000 satellites on the low Earth orbit, which is this 350 kilometer orbit. If I want 100,000 satellites in 5 years, we need 20,000 satellites per year, right? Now divided by 365, divided by, so you need at least, how many satellites per, you can just calculate, at least we need 50 satellites per day, or 365 by 365 we can divide. And that means how many you need per hour, okay? And where are the engines going to come? So I am sure this is the company, I have 5% stake in, as IIT Madras has 5% stake in it, which is going to give me the next 20,000, 30,000 crores. After that, it's all different ballgame. Okay. So why I'm telling this is, it's not just about money, but this is about the deep talent and the courage to explore. The person who is the founder is not from IIT Madras, from deep south, Coimbatore, and he went abroad. He resigned his job and came here and took up this venture. Faced a lot of challenges, technical, commercial, financial, all these things, but he has come to this stage. I also invite you to come and see the rocket factory. We also grow diamonds. We have a diamond factory. So a lot of interesting things. So please do come to IIT Madras. So with this much of campaign about IIT Madras, let me start this important topic of what are the emerging technologies that we need to look at and how do you go forward in this. Now let us take this opportunity to see what is this, how do you define emerging technology? Are these technologies or radically novel, or you talk of technologies which are yet to achieve some maturity, or this is some technology which is there in paper but not fully realized, or some technology when, if you mature this will have a significant impact on specifically socio-economic domains. So this is you can have all of them can be things, but is this explanation enough? My faithful answer is it's not enough. We need to talk a little more about, we should attempt to define emerging technology a little more better. See, this is the more thing. we can view emerging technologies as new applications of existing technology also, in that the existing approaches themselves would radically change by being novel and potentially impactful to the global order, at least immediately when applied on any scale. So 3D printing was a known technology. It's not, when I start using 3D printing and I make it more precise and I start using it for printing rocket engines, then it becomes an emerging technology, right? When I start using 3D printing, I make it more robust, and we have a 3D printed house. We are making a 3D printed guest house now at IIT Madras. A 3D printer, you just give the design, it will print an house for you, right, with concrete. So then it becomes so. And then the most important thing is these type of things become attractive when you start looking at it from a global point and a scalable point. So why is the rocket engine today attractive? Not because it is something new, but today I can basically address comprehensively the engine crisis, right? Which will come, and we need to address it, and so it can bring down the cost. So our thing is whatever SpaceX or whichever organizations is going to charge. I am very confident that with this technology, and he is also trying, Agnikul is trying to bring back and collect it back, right? It is reusable stuff. We can send per kg at 1/3 the cost. And if we are able to do it at that 1/3 the cost, there's nothing more to look back on that. Okay, so this is how it has become emerging. Now, so now we start looking at in this global order, where we are going to fit in, where is our country, where is our Rashtra, and how are we going to take it forward. So that's a major question that is need to be answered at this point of time when we are looking at emerging technologies that are going to lead India. Now, this also becomes a new interpretation of this. We can also view emerging technologies as new applications of existing technology, in that the existing approaches themselves would bring a refreshing change by being novel and potentially impactful to the welfare of our country, measured in terms of economic growth, GDP, living standards, employment rate, innovation and technological capabilities, without uncertainty and ambiguity when applied on any scale. For example, the processor. See, processor existed. The processor that we made existed for several years. It's not that new. But what we have done is that can we bring that technology here and make it usable? So what we have done is we have taken a processor, make a family of processors. I need not shoot a mosquito with a revolver. If you shoot a mosquito with a revolver, bullet will be wasted, mosquito will still be available, right? So can we just now make smaller versions for smaller problems, larger versions for larger problems? Because today, processors in those days when I studied computer science, it was just a desktop machine which will gulp a lot of power. Today processors, as I told you, is there everywhere. Anything that you see, we have processors. So we are now looking at domain specific architecture. So this domain, smaller one, larger one. So when we repurpose that processor for this, then it becomes a contextually relevant one and it becomes an emerging technology. So we are seeing a definition of emerging technologies that could help our country. So again, we have to look at from a country perspective. I think these four definitions, something very new, something existing but repurposed, something existing, process existing but we do something. Now, everything is done but we now see a new purpose for it that we can customize. So all these four are interesting definitions of emerging technologies. Now, these emerging technologies will be of the greatest benefit to our nation if we have the sovereignty and we also have the self-generation capability, what our Honorable Prime Minister says as Atmanirbhar. I think he did not mince any word this time, from browser to operating system. Exactly these two computer science words came from our Honorable Prime Minister during his Independence Day address. So as a computer scientist, I was happy in one sense, so he's talking operating system and browser. But the real challenge now remains is that many of the things are still important and we need to come out with indigenous solutions. But then that's the most important thing here. So sovereign and Atmanirbhar dual use are the keys. So three things. One, today national security is paramount. All the technologies that we have put needs to lead to national security. National security is not just on the armed forces. Today, friends, if your bank is attacked, your SBI is attacked, you're gone. Friends, there is one single database company which is also having its origin in USA, today running the entire show of our country. And if that gets plugged, everything stops. Okay? So we have these. So these are also, acts of war. Okay? In a sense, you stop the entire country from functioning. So the dual use is also very important here. So we are looking at sovereignty, we are looking at Atmanirbhar, and also dual use. So with this as a background, let me very quickly go through. I'll spend another 10 minutes on this. So these are all the 18 important domains. You can just take a photograph of it. But I'll just quickly go through this one by one. Each we can talk about an hour on this to just say where we are and how we need to progress and what is emerging and critical here. But I'll try to do it justice very quickly on what and all could be there. But it cuts across domains, starting from AI to robotics to semiconductors to nanotechnology to satellite to biotech, healthcare, sanitation, blockchain, security, energy, etc. Now, let us take AI. So the social impacts of AI and machine learning today, whatever you see, healthcare, banking, finance, evidence, etc. But AI can also be, these are some immediate things, but they can be extended impacts on other technologies, the remaining 18. So every one is related to another in a very big way. That's why the National Education Policy 2020 has basically said that we must look at interdisciplinary work. And this is a demonstration of why it is going to become interdisciplinary. So AI, for example, is used extensively in autonomous vehicles, as an example. In aerospace today, a lot of AI comes even in predictive maintenance of your aero engines, etc. So now let us look at the dual use. AI and ML also finds lot of use in military, right? And some of the things I need not even tell you. The latest Sudarshana Chakra that was recently announced, indigenous defense shield. Everything has lot of AI there. So what we do here is that lot of experience you get on many of these civil applications actually play a very important role in this military impacts. But it's not just one, so we are seeing 7, but it is not just because of AI that you see a very populated table, but as we go down, we'll see that this is true for many such fields. Now look at robotics and drones. Potentially it is used for entertainment and delivery today. But robotics and drones are having a lot of effects on manufacturing, surgery and agriculture. And the other 3 that we are seeing, we are having a lot of solutions. Slowly we are becoming indigenous, but a lot of things are being imported there. But this is a very important field that we need to look at. And from a military, again, from the dual use point of view, we see a lot of things, reconnaissance, target identification, autonomous weapon, bomb disposal, battlefield surveillance, and so many things that come out of robotics and drones. Advanced semiconductors and electronics, we have some impacts on consumer devices and entertainment, which is the basic users of this. But what we don't see is all our communication equipment, our automotive, instrumentation, engineering process, machinery. Friends, what it means also is, if I am going to stop this supply chain, somewhere I cut it, all those are going to suffer. And the third column is something which is very much impacted. And here, you see advanced semiconductors, we have a lot of things on the military side. We have missile system guidance, radars, very important. We have several radars. If I just had an opportunity to talk about, can you hack an aircraft, right? Some are interested, I can give another lecture on that. But the radars also play a role. There are primary radars, surveillance radars, secondary surveillance radars. So many things here, it's going to have a very important thing. Augmented reality and virtual reality is playing a very important role today. Tourism is using it because of immersive experience. For education, we are using it. Today, a lot of training is done specifically on the medical side and on the automotive side, and many things that are slightly risky, has a health risk. The training first is done on the VR/AR, and once they get certain capabilities, then they are left on the field so that they don't injure themselves or lead to some other issues. So on the extended impact on other technologies, of course we have simulation, cyber security, metaverse, medical visualization, so many things come as a list of impact. And this augmented reality, virtual reality are used in the military for multiple applications. Now we look at additive manufacturing, with this 3D printing. Basically it's used for custom goods, but you see lot more of extended impacts on other, like civil structures, automotive, medical devices today, precision engineering, and so many things. And the same you can see for the military impacts. We have rapid at-scale production of weapon components, drones, military equipment, and spare parts. So today, if we can print, for example, some weapons, I think that's the easiest way of producing them, right? Nanotechnologies is taking a very big role here. Nanotechnology is not just about semiconductors. Nanotechnology is everywhere in terms of your water filter, nano water filters, nano packaging materials, etc. And this is extremely aligned with the important for the sustainable development goals. And so nanotechnology today also finds very good use in improved materials, electronics, medicine, etc. And from a military impact, you see lightweight. So today, if I can reduce by one, so recently one of the startups actually made a wheelchair which was made by a combination of carbon fiber and aluminium. Okay, and the first and foremost, the wheelchairs that are available in India, India-made Atmanirbhar wheelchairs. The moment you sit, you start feeling you are a patient. Okay, so this wheelchair was ergonomically designed, and we had an architect who came and worked on this. So you feel proud to possess this wheelchair, right? So even when I saw this, I wanted to actually sit and go around. Okay, that's a feel you get. The second thing is, it is 7.5 kgs, while the current wheelchairs are 19 kgs. So a similar version could be imported from outside, but that imported one cost around 2,50,000, though there is custom duty exemption, etc., etc., etc. It's 2,50,000, while this was sold at 74,000 rupees. So today, this is basically turning the life of all the physically challenged people. They are able to come, they are able to work, they are able to play table tennis. There's a table tennis player, he's a physically challenged, but he's a Paralympic at IIT Madras, and he was able to, he says now he can win many more tournaments with this lightweight chair. So these are some of the very interesting impacts that you have from these emerging technologies, and we are looking at. So satellite and space, of course, entertainment, disaster recovery, weather forecasting, these are some of the potential social impacts. But then the satellite space technology has a lot of impact on GPS, zero gravity manufacturing. Friends, today, when we go very deep, even a small variation in a fiber, when you are doing fiber for communication, will cause more attenuation and reduce the quality of signal. It will increase the error rate. And why those things are changing is because of gravity. When I start manufacturing it in the earth, it basically has gravity there. So if I could take it to the space or create vacuum and do, since gravity is not there, I get much higher precision. So this is called extraterrestrial manufacturing. So we have a very big group working on extraterrestrial manufacturing, pan IITs. So this is what you call as a zero gravity manufacturing. And of course, we have many use of satellite. Of course, we did not tell in the Operation Sindoor, the entire success was because of NAVIC, which is our homegrown technology, which actually saw us hit that 5-meter accuracy. Then advanced sensing and surveillance. Of course, this is a major thing for even our search and rescue operations during national calamity. But then environmental monitoring, autonomous vehicles, early warning systems, these are going to play a role. And these are some of the military impacts, target acquisition, intelligence. That's an emerging technology. And I am finding lot of youth today trying to get into this regenerative agriculture, because ultimately if you start keeping asking why are you earning, you'll say something, why that, why that, why that, finally you'll say this 6-inch stomach for which we need that food, right? So ultimately it will boil down to this 6-inch stomach, and let us give that good food. And in Tamil there is a saying, Thiruvalluvar has said, Urudundu Valvane Valvan, Allah, Toludundu Pinchelvavar, Urudundu Valvan. One person who plows will be the king, all the other will be the servant of that king. Okay, so because farmers say, I don't want to produce, I don't want to sell, we can't eat this tube light and fan, right? So this is very, very important. And this is a very interesting emerging technology that we have kept up. And I see a lot of military veterans actually coming back post-retirement very good in agriculture today. If we come to Nagapattinam and those areas, I see a lot of army people who have retired. They are coming and taking up, specifically in South India and Kerala for sure. Then sanitation, restoration and conservation. This is going to be a very important topic. Basically river restoration today. It's extremely important. So these are all some very interesting. So we call this Eco-Territorial Army, Ecological Task Force or specialized units of the Indian Territorial Army. They are focused on environmental restoration and conservation. They undertake afforestation and ecological, and this is funded by the ministry. So this is a scheme here. So then biotech and healthcare, and this is, of course, these are the very important potential social impacts. I want to talk about one startup that has come here. They made a bio fertilizer, and this biofertilizer we put some grams per acre before you sow the seed, and just in one harvest I was able to see 12% increase. It's completely bio, no chemical, right? And tested, and it's an IIT Madras startup. So this is the thought of innovation we need to bring in, because chemical fertilizers kill. I personally had 2 cancer deaths in my family. 2 of my very close cousins passed away. They are teetotalers completely, and no other reason, no genetics, no nothing, but except food should have been the only thing there. So I started organic farming. I should just want to share one thing. We used to put, I am putting one paddy called Navra. Navra is in Kerala, you do for Ayurvedic treatment. Morning it looks like gold completely when the sun rises, it's golden color. And one day it was very green. And then the person working in the farm said, I'll put one cracker, sir, these are all parrots. They'll all fly off. I said, no, don't disturb. That the same parrot was not going to the next field which has chemical fertilizer. Okay, so this is a lesson I learned from a parrot, that that tongue, the taste of organic food is there in our parrots. Parrots teach us lesson. Everybody teaches lesson. The world teaches lesson every second. Whether we have the maturity to learn or not is the question now. So that's what we learned. So friends, this healthcare, basically biotechnology for getting good biofertilizers is extremely important, and this is one very interesting field here. And of course, bio-war is going to be an imminent threat. 5G, 6G, we have talked about it in great detail. This is going to be extremely important, and tomorrow when you are looking at real-time battlefield communication, all the devices that are put in the whole thing must be ours. Okay? If it is not ours, then we don't know what can happen. When I buy a black box from outside, I can test what I want it to do, I can test whether it is doing. But I cannot test whether it will not do what I don't want it to do. Got the question, right? This I cannot. And that's the most important point. And that's why we need whatever. We may be a little bit slow, it will be a little degraded in performance, etc. But let it be ours. So that's the most important thing. And that is one very important lesson. I have several case studies on this. Time is not that, but blockchain is going to become extremely important. There are some governments, I think the government of Karnataka basically had this blockchain for land record recognition. So especially I can't go and manipulate things. Once the transaction is done, transaction is done. I can correct it, but I can't go and change it and see that it is not done wrong in the first time. So that is the most important thing. Health records, several things today with blockchain. I think we can bring in a lot of transparency, lot of accountability, and lot of address several frauds that could happen. So this is also extremely important in the case of military because logistics becomes extremely. Hamas, the pager incident will teach us that we need this blockchain type of things to see that things are literally the data that I receive, the data I see is confidential, it has integrity, it can be authenticated and it will be available also. Energy is another very important area. Of course, there are a lot of important technologies that are affected by energy. And of course, these are also some very important things. For example, low power electronics is becoming extremely important when I want to have an extended life phone for this. So friends, what I've done so far is gave you a lot of whatever I thought is emerging, which also fits into our 4 or 5 definitions of emerging. And these are all the technologies where our youngsters have to look. So I also see some old people who will be having grandchildren. I see young people who will be having children and some youth. I don't see anybody from school. When your grandchild, so as a teacher, I make it as a point. This is, if you have seen 3 Idiots, there is one virus. So I do the same thing. Every talk I end with this. If your child or a grandchild wants to pursue some field, don't impose your idea onto them. Allow them to pursue that field. And that will make our Bharat Viksit Bharat by 2047. Thank you very much. I'll open up for questions. Yes, sir, please. I'd love to know your name also.
Thank you, Professor, for such an interesting session. I am Akash. I work on science technology in context of international relations and security. So I have 2 concerns. Like you gave the example of Israel's attack on Lebanon's terrorists in pager form. So how do we secure our supplies for critical minerals, especially when we are manufacturing semiconductors on our own? And second question is, where do we stand in terms of quantum tech? Because among all these technologies, I see quantum as the biggest disruptor because it will change everything from communications to computing. And third question is, how do you see India's role in standard setting? Because we have our adversaries who are going huge in standard setting. It is not at what pace India grows. It is at what pace India grows with respect to our adversaries or our competitors. So we have this China standards 2035. They are going huge into EV solar panels. How do you see India in the role as a standard setter, or in which camp should we go, or we should build our own camp? Thank you.
Okay. So you've asked 3 questions. So first question is about critical minerals, right? Critical minerals, one thing is, if you are going to take minerals and start making devices from that scratch, I can essentially go and test the standard of the minerals. Okay, so critical minerals are not the issue. The issue is that we get black boxes. See, pager came as a black box there and then it started bursting. Now, what we have done, right? So, we have this trusted telecom directive, wherein any commercial telco person, do you know about the trusted telecom directive? Yes. How many people? Yes. Only 1? 2. Okay. Right. This is the most important thing that I think you should start reading Parliament gazettes. Okay. Right. Not just newspapers. Okay. So it's a very important thing. Today any telco, they want to put something in the network, they need to get permission from a committee. Okay. Right. So, and that committee will see some, the whole history of who that company is, who are the shareholders, what sort of connections they have, all these things they will do. And then they find out, okay, now we said you are trusted. Okay. But friend, trust, right? How many people are mathematics here? So 4, 5. Okay. See, there is, if I want to say something is equal to something else, 3 relations it should satisfy, right? One is called reflexive. I should trust myself. Now, trust is what we want to define, right? I should trust myself. Many times we don't, right? I trust something, but I don't trust myself for something else. Trust should be symmetric. If I trust you, you should trust me. Trust is not symmetric. I trust you, you may not trust me. Trust is also not transitive. I trust you, you trust him, but I need not trust him. In addition, trust is context dependent. I trust you for something, I don't trust you for something else. Trust is also temporal. Morning I trust you, evening I don't trust you. Okay? So trust transcends all the proper mathematical definition. But society for centuries have been running on trust. You go and Google on definition of trust, you will get 1 million answers. Okay? But that trust is what we are currently banking on. Now suppose I say I don't want to trust, then what next? Atmanirbhar. Right? So we have to do it ourselves. And there also you go and trust some fellows about their loyalty about our country. Okay? That's all. So that's why this our Honorable PM came out with this Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. I am na bandhuha, I am iti laguna ganana nirguchetasam udara charita nam tu Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. This is the Upanishad thing. I am friend, he is not friend, he is my friend. This type of, he is my friend, he is my enemy. This type of intentions come only for low matured people. The fellow who is a realized soul will see this entire earth as one future, one earth, one family. Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. This is the meaning of this. So all your grandchildren and children, we should make them realized souls. I think that's the final answer for this. That's the Advaita answer for this. Okay. Right. Second question. He has 3 questions. Second question. Second was on quantum. See, quantum is a wild goose chase as for everybody. Everybody claims they have done something, but when you go very close, we are not seeing anything. What is India doing? India's strength is about software. India's strength is about mathematics. So we are developing very great algorithms. We are developing very good libraries. We work very much on the code. So we will become very good users to start with. Okay. Now, on the quantum side, we have a very interesting diamond project that is going on. Diamond can see today the chips are made out of wafers, right? Silicon wafers. But if I substitute it with diamond wafer, then the thermal properties go very high, and it also can have a very long lifetime. And in this diamond, don't ask me more than this. I don't know, even if you ask me to blabber also, I don't know what to blabber. But this much I can tell you. In this thing, you can introduce a nitrogen impurity and create a quantum bit on a diamond wafer. So that is something which people are exploring in our country. That's the only thing about the hardware side that we see. Lot of work is going on the control electronics, because there is something called readout. The quantum bits exist, I have to read it out. So there are some control electronics. So this is on the hardware side. But on the software side, we are rocking as usual. And on the mathematics side also, I'm sure we will rock. So and also some of the design. So the design has to go through some design cycle. Today it's all almost manual manufacturing, but we will have CAD for quantum design very quickly, like how we have CAD for VLSI design. And there also, I think we will play a very important role. People are looking into it very seriously. Third one? Standards. I talked about the 5G standards, right? It's very, very important that we maintain those standards. Standards can be established, first we need to patent. So the culture of patenting has to come. So I must tell you that there were days, 10, 15 years before, where we had a US patent granted, but Indian patent still hanging. But thanks to, I think, our friend Unnat Pandit, who became the chief patent controller, and some very good revolution happened. Now patents are, yes or no comes in maximum 1.5 years. And that's a big boon for the country, and that's going to be the game changer. So if at all India is going to become great in quantum, in standard setting, one person or one office that we need to really, congratulate and thank will be our patent office. Okay.
Sir,
Ah.
sir, I'm Colonel Kuber, sir.
Ah.
I'm here with, I take care of aerospace and defense as a dad also. I have the great privilege of mentoring one of your startups, which is doing the water flight technologies, the aircraft which is going to fly.
Yes.
And this is an aircraft that's going to really change the dimension of probably warfare also. And you talked about Australia. Actually, they did a podium finish in Germany. You didn't talk about that. I thought we should share with the audience that there's an electric car from IIT Madras, which went all the way to Germany, 4 students, and they stood second against the Mercedes and BMWs in the world. So that's nice. My question, sir, you are in the NSAB. Now, there are technologies which are being developed by DRDO. There are some startups who are doing technologies. There are so many IITs, so many other colleges are doing. Is there any central agency which is trying to holistically bring about a comprehensive synergy in the technologies that we are developing, or we are only reinventing the wheel at various places? So can you actually drive this as a project?
Yeah. So nothing gives me more pleasure as a director to listen some great things about my startups. But the electric car is the Raftar team. This is the Agni show, which is a solar car.
Harish. I'm talking about Harish.
Harish is the startup company.
Yes.
He is now getting a seaplane which will go at 4-meter altitude above sea, and he says he can go from Chennai to Calcutta in 3 hours at 600 rupees or something. Okay, so on the sea. Okay, so that's the thing. But the electric car which made in the German podium, it's an electric car. It's a Raftar. This is a completely solar car, which is the third one. Okay, on this. Today when we look at the BSNL 4G, it's an agglomeration of Indian technologies. There is the CDOT which gave the core, the RAN was from Tejas. So we actually got these technologies put together to give an Indian consortium which is now coming out with this 4G. And they are doing well, and I'm sure they will be getting into this. So this is one part. And of course, there are multiple projects that have come up. I personally have worked with a lot of projects in DRDO. There are certain projects which have actually gone to field. We can't talk about it in public, but then they have gone to the field. The main issue here is the end user involvement. And once the end users are there, I think we are seeing good deployment of this. And I'm sure in Operations Indoor, we would have seen many of the synergy between these things. Of course, Mangal is here, he also knows more about this. Okay, so of course, there are a lot of explorations that are happening. Many of the explorations may give us reasonable success, but those that gave real success, I have seen them going into deep things. But nevertheless, whatever your point says, is also a good time that we take that now technology is becoming extremely important for defense. It's also important that we take stock of these things and see if there could be a synergy that we can come at an institutional level. Okay, use this. There can be one think tank which looks at all these things and say what you can put together. It's a very good suggestion. We'll surely take it up. Yes, sir. Sir. Oh, sir. Please.
Mike is here.
Oh, Vanakkam.
Sir, fall of society happens on a couple of scenarios. One, new thought process and advent of the technology. Egypt, Middle East, even the Europe, China, and most of the people lost their culture. Almost we retain in the entire globe. Now, consistent continuity of the same also depends on the retaining the culture. Now, with the advent of this much technology, now intervention for the medical aid to the surrogacy. Now, recently it's been launched in China for the pregnancy, and that leads to, when the society leads to the complacency, outsourcing the human needs is fair, subordinate is fair, but the gender role itself outsourced. Now, how do you see the sustainability in the next 20-30 years and the current scenario in the campus? 25 years before, when I was in campus, there is only 2 gender. Now, I'm being pretty often engaging in the campus. I've been surprised. I'm a little bit confused. Now I'm able to manage the scenario. I see also the 3rd gender. Now the presence is huge. Now, where we will be in the next 25 years, and this advent of technology and outsourcing the pregnancy, and whether we can retain the same status, or it is also a matter of the trust, the third dimension. Morning we can trust, evening not. Maybe this decade we can maintain the third gender. Maybe in another decade it will change. What do you see the level of consistency in this?
One thing, thank you. One thing I am very, very clear. I think we have people like Gurumurthy ji sitting. I am taking some courage to talk in front of him. 1,000 years, friend, we have been targeted as a country, but still we retain our civilization, our culture. Of course, there are certain aberrations that you are talking. In my opinion, it will be aberrations. We are still, after 1,000 years and 2 centuries of colonialism, 2 centuries of saying what is dictatorship, right? We still donated vaccines. Nobody else that is in our country. I think you need to clap for this gentleman. Correct? So we as a country, there is a, whether you agree or not, but I believe that as a country, we have that line of thought, the line of what you say, blessing, and the line of culture just is completely intact. There can be an aberration. Now you are saying about the other thing, but please recognize that they also are important, and there are different needs for them. Like other problem you have said, and we are addressing it comprehensively. See, as if you come to IIT Madras campus. Have you come to IIT Madras campus? You are talking about IIT Madras campus. You come and see. We see deers are very happy. We have a 20-kilometer limit. Monkeys are very happy. Students are also happy. Right? It all takes the effort, of course. It takes effort. But we learn those lessons over a period of time. And every day, again I tell you, I learn from the parrot. Every second, my friend, the world is teaching you lessons. It is up to our maturity to absorb it. I have no doubts that our civilization will stuck. I am seeing so many people. When I decided in 1989, when I completed my BTech, that I will not take a passport, I will stay in this country. My Guruji had told me to stay. That you should not go abroad, don't have passport, stay here. All the best, I will bless you. If you feel the loss. This is the blessing I got. Okay. Now, that time, many of my friends, even I've studied in a self-financing college. My BTech was in self-financing college. My postgraduate and PhD was from IIT. So 1989 when I completed in self-financing college, out of 60, 52 went abroad. Some have died, unfortunately, but 45 of them, their children are back in India. They don't want to grow them there. Right? So people will start realizing the importance of Indian culture. And I have faith in it, trust in it. Okay. And you also have first trust.
Thank you. Sir, I have a question as well as a suggestion if it is not answered. 24/7, the 365 availability of enormous resources within the IIT, the labs, the testing facilities, design simulation. If my son wants to use it, he has to know somebody. So, do we have an online mechanism with a clarity on those testing facilities? And second part I find is these beyond laboratories, the field testings are not available in our academic institutions. And that becomes a limitation when you have to test, like you spoke about drones and autonomous systems or underwater systems. So how do we fill these gaps? And
these two I'll answer, then we'll go to some 10 lakhs or something. I think I buy more than any small thing. I have to put on that ISTEM. And ISTEM was actually motivated by us at some point of time when Vijay Raghavan was there as a PSA. And so we are also very equally committed to loading it. So today you can go to the ISTEM portal, you can block, you can come and use the facility. Right? And I assure you, if somebody denies it, I'll suspend that person. Okay, that much I can do. Okay, number one. Number two is testing facility. Sir, I want all of you to once come to IIT Madras and see. So Agni Cool testing needs 7.5 acres because they actually test that field. So we have given a test range for them. For the drones and the E-plane, we have built a runway for them. For the underwater and water, ocean engineering and structure, we have a 4-acre sea. We have created a sea where we have, this is in our Discovery campus, which is 25 kilometers away from our main campus. We have indigenous programmable, gateways which can oscillate, create different types. I can create a tsunami. I can see how a harbor gets affected. We make harbors of all Kandla port, this port, every port. There's harbor models are there, and we are creating and we are analyzing it. So the ocean engineering alone per month makes consultancy worth 70 to 80 crores, right? And these are the professors, only professors who can afford the BMW and other type of cars. We have also some Maruti cars. Okay, so again for the grandpas, grandmas, mothers, naval architecture is the last choice when I see the choice list of the students, but it's the most heavy revenue earning field. So this is an importance for you. So we have that facility. Then we have a runway. You can have a full runway there. And for semiconductors, under the National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical System, we have created a complete environment where anybody can submit the design. We have got the tools at and zero cost almost. We also have manpower to support them. Battery testing, we have facilities. So these test beds we have created. So please visit the research park. So I am talking about IIT Madras. So there we have all this. Third question, last one.
How much time do you have?
It all depends on him.
Cross 4:30.
It all depends on Guru.
I'm taking the order I have seen.
15 minutes more is what is.
15 minutes, okay.
Sorry. Okay.
Pradeep, yeah, I'll come to you. You are on my list. You are on my list. This is the order in which I am
He wants to ask. Okay, fine. He wants to ask, please, sir. Please give it to the gentleman here. Sir.
I said you understand. I came only to make some points clear.
Please go ahead.
I'm Dr. Sanwan. I'm a doctorate from Pusha Institute in Genetics and I am from Moscow State University in biotechnology. So I have a basic question. You have all of the technology, you take top floor technology. I want to talk about the ground floor technology. And that is 4 Jews. They changed the whole world. Fritz Haber, Sakram, I was the student in the same university where he was a professor of physics for nuclear device. He created hydrogen bomb, got Nobel Prize. Oppenheimer and Einstein because of their brain. In India, 140 crore brains. They are extremely hungry nutritionally. And I thought you will talk about that technology. There is a product called Solin in the market.
Huh?
Solin, S-O-L-E-I-N, Solin. Finland is making it. It is in the market since last year. If you use it, is a peanut for India to do it. If you have this supplement, or all the people who are nutritionally hungry, we can utilize it. Second thing, India is prominently an agricultural country and I have been a scientist in agricultural sciences in the university. Netherlands Agricultural University, we have 74 MOUs, Indian Council of Agriculture Research. They have developed a system. It is nothing new. The symbiotic nitrogen fixation, urea from the air. They have devised now and designed the bacteria. They give all the requirement of the fertilizers to the plant right from the air. You need not to do anything. India has a problem in fertilizer. Huge amount we are importing. And recently China refused that we will not give the fertilizer. I thought you will talk about big technologies. And this is not something big. India cannot do it. We can do it overnight. All agricultural universities, their department of microbiology, they do this azotobacter culture. What they call it tika. The black powder is given to
Sure.
Why we don't talk about if these two technologies are not there, we don't have a proper brain, your chips and your 10G, 5G will not work. And for that we need agriculture.
Sure.
Without that nothing. Jeevanam Krishi. the whole life exists without agriculture. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, just to answer, so I also did the Tamil version of what you told. The farmer is seeking. So we have done something, maybe these two products we will explore, but we have done something, as I told you, about the biofertilizer, our company, which has actually given 12% yield increase just by adding a few grams to an acre. So we are working on it. There's a biotech incubator, and this is one success in terms of food security. So certainly I'll take your point, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah. Sure.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful talk today. I have some observation is that the Intel is on decline. US, they have been talking about it, and the US government is pumping some equity in it recently. We are also embarking in semiconductor, but not in the core fab. So how will we be able to sustain? You mentioned about 180 nanometer chip can be used in these equipment. What conditions should be imposed that the manufacturers use it? Because that is where the actual future is coming. So we can make it 180 nanometer chip.
Correct.
It has to be embraced by those manufacturers.
Got it. So
there are two more small queries. One is that you talked about the carbon thing in your talk just now. In the defense manufacturing, because I worked in that, in the gun barrel, there is an operation in the 155 gun barrel with two rifling inside. There is an advanced technology which is being used by European nation of carbon filament pasting. Because when I do rifling, even a small micron damage, that barrel has to be discarded. It's a huge loss for the manufacturer. So that is where it's something we are still not masters in that thing. And another is I was expecting that you will also deliberate on the metallurgy, that jet engine technology, etc., something like that, because IIT Madras has a very good mechanical engineering department. That's excellent, the best in the country. And this solar cell, you are told there is an idea, but Indians are working on that in US only. IIT Kharagpur pass outs. Gallium arsenide solar cell, which is used in the spacecraft, they have indigenized and turned it to the nanoscale technology in US. But they want to bring it to India. Paste it on the car hood, and the car will be charged by the go, and the efficiency is almost 50% more than the silicon.
okay.
So that is where something you can.
Sure. Thank you very much. So Intel is not in the decline, because if Intel goes, no servers will exist. Intel is seemingly on the decline because they are not into the mobile market, and today 99% of the processors sold are on the mobile. 96% is this, 3% is some IoT and other things, but 1 or 2% is the server. In total, quantity wise. But Intel cannot go, and if Intel goes, the whole semiconductor. They are the seminal companies, and somebody will put equity and save them, right? So there's no doubt about it. Again, today we have an what I stored as an 180 nanometer was a demonstration that an ecosystem exists in our country. We are not completely erased off the semiconductor roadmap, and that is what even last month we made a chip and we showed that yes, still we exist. So this is an existential qualification that we are doing, but what it essentially means is, in the Indian context, we have enough human manpower to do this, and if the technologies come, more and more come, we will be in a position to scale. So this is the proof, that's the statement I was trying to make. And even 180 nanometer, today, yes, today all the power, your chargers, your EV, many things use high power electronics, 130 to 180, they will use, they have to use. There's no otherwise it will not be cost efficient also. But when a fab of that, because this, whatever we see in SCL is more of a research fab or a small manufacturing fab. It can't be at a large scale. They have to know, they are now recouping themselves to become a large scale fab. But for somebody to come to India and put it here, we'll just say that yes, technology can be brought, but human capital is extremely important. And that's where we were trying to show. The second thing. The third thing about the carbon, yes, surely I will take it up on the carbon fiber thing on the thing. I invite you to IIT Madras, sir. We can have a discussion with this composite people and who have been doing some things very close to this, and let us see if that could be a solution. I have not heard about this problem, nor I don't know whether somebody is working on it. Maybe they are working. Engines we are doing quite a bit, but due to confidentiality reason, I did not come out. But we are doing very big on the engines. We will also be doing something for a large ship engine also. We have a very interesting startups is trying to do something phenomenal in that direction. Last one is your carbon thing. Please do give your contact. I would like to see for this same car. The big problem was the weight of the solar thing. If you can stick it on this, on some composite simple light, I think it will be a great boon for us. So I'll take your contact from Chairman. Yes.
So we'll take the last question now, I think, although there are many, but probably we'll have to finish it. Yes, sir.
Sir, grateful thanks, and we really enjoyed every bit of your presentation. And thank you very much for sparing your valuable time and being with us at VIU. Sir, no questions, just drawing your kind attention to 2-3 points very quickly. Sir, the first point is that this country has endogenous energy resource, strategic national resource of coal for next 500 years. And we know that right after Second World War, people developed, the Nazis developed the technology from coal to aviation fuel, which the world still uses. So, multiple benefits of coal, when will we start realizing for our own country, for our own development, for our Viksit Bharat, or will we keep it below ground? That was just one observation, because with the slightest hint of war, everybody has fallen back in the arms of coal. That's first point. The second point is, sir, very good slides we saw in terms of agriculture. So India is the home where 152 crops were domesticated. Today, there are only 5 to 10 plants which stand between man and starvation worldwide. So will we go ahead and diversify our food base? But more than that, will we use the genetic resources of our crops? Because for rice, which is the staple, you see, we had 100,000 varieties of rice. Now, we have not been able to use the genetic resources and improve our crops and market that well into commercial. So these were some thoughts which I thought good to attract your attention.
Absolutely.
Personality like you. No questions.
Thank you
once again, sir.
So just to talk about whether should we take out that coal or start looking at the other renewable energy is a bigger question now comes because of the climatic issues. Now, unfortunately, the developed countries which were responsible for more than 70 to 80% of the gas that they over the last century, in which India played 1.2%. Now, those countries are now advising us about how to preserve nature. That is the calamity. That's more bigger calamity than looking at coal. So, but other than that, say India is India, right? We are Bharat. So, are we now sensitive? Should we take that coal, burn it, and still go and spoil our ozone, or should we start looking at renewable energy? Nuclear offers us a very interesting thing, as I had put in one of the slides. I think that's also something we need to look at. Because coal is coal, it's anything that we dig and take. It's, today we want to do lab grown diamonds because diamond has a lot of health hazard, right? The other diamonds that we use, though it's beautiful for us to wear diamond ring, diamond earrings, etc. But it has some health hazards. So, can we do something different? This is a question. That's the number one. And the second thing I just, you were mentioning about, just can you?
Sir, it was about diversifying the food base.
Food base. So, I come from Tanjavur, so we have got back 172 varieties. There is one Nel Jayaraman. Nel is paddy in Tamil. His name was Jayaraman. So, we have got 172 original quality. On the original quality, we can see, like, we have something called this Gir Kavani, that's a rice there. We have something called Jeeraga Samba. We also buy from some shop. So when I just enter my house, the kitchen is at least some 10 meters away. So when the front yard, if I could smell it, I know it is organic. Okay, so so we see that. So that quality is that. So we have some 172 varieties. We have that old genetic seeds. It just comes very, very carefully maintained. But after that, yes, it's a big loss. So rice itself would have solved a lot of problems. Diabetes, everything, there was a solution in those days. But we have lost it, but we should not lose more. And wherever anybody has 1 acre of land, please don't sell it. Okay, this is my request to all of you. Please keep that land and do some agriculture, put some cow dung, put some natural fertilizers, buy some biofertilizer from our startups also if you want. But then maintain that and I am very happy China is not giving us fertilizer. I prefer hunger to eating that food. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So there were many more questions, but I don't think we have the time. No, please. He's been there are many. There are at least 3-4 more hands. I really can't take any more questions. And I want to thank him during the time. And as you can see, he's retired also. I think we just want to thank you for raising so many wonderful issues. But what I liked was the optimistic tone of your lecture and the confidence with which you gave your presentation. There we have everything, and I think your experience shows that you have delivered also. Your students have delivered. The Shakti microprocessor thing that you mentioned, the 5G standards that you mentioned, and number of patents, the sharp increase in the number of patents. So it shows that we can do it together. But as somebody said, we have to, I think, do it at a much larger scale. Maybe to start with, have some kind of a database of what all we have, so that we don't reinvent technologies. And you have also opened your institution to, for others to use their facilities for testing and so on. So, and lots of central of excellence and research park. So a lot of things are happening. So there's a good functioning model in the IIT. So congratulate you for that. And the students are doing very well, which is of course the greatest reward. And also it's a national assets that you are creating. So thank you very much. Let's give a